Today I'd like to share something that I hope will be helpful to some of you who may just be learning about the octatonic or diminished scale. There are many ways to use it. This is just the way I processed it initially to get a handle on it. If you look at an F7 chord, this is an F major with a dominant 7, obviously minor 7. It's a F dominant 7 chord. F7 chord is the shorthand most musicians use. You'll see that if you take the F away, you've got a diminished triad in it. If you play an F7 with a flatted ninth, now you have a fully diminished 7 chord contained within that F7. The octatonic scale can be used to indicate these notes in time by, for instance, saying 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So what I'm doing is I'm playing each of these notes, and I'm playing a half step underneath each of those notes. It becomes another diminished chord. Always reminds me a little bit of the Pink Panther. And if that helps you, use it by all means. But essentially, what I'm doing is I'm approaching each of the notes of an A diminished 7 chord from a half step underneath. So, start on the minor third, off the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Now, as I said, this is just one way of doing it. This is what I did, and it's helped me to keep a handle on it. B flat. I'm going to start on a D flat and go straight to D on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this one, here's the diminished chord in question, and I'm approaching it with the notes underneath it, which, as you see, forms another diminished 7 chord. Okay, if I go to E flat now, now I'm approaching another diminished chord. G diminished using F sharp or G flat diminished to approach it. Once I've done these three, I've done all of them because they begin to repeat themselves. Remember, we started with this. Then we went here. And now here's this one. Now when I get to this, I'm back to where I started because the scale in question, even if I start like this, it's still the same scale as the one I used over F. Here's the one I used over F. Now, I code to the third, right? Because that's where the diminished is. But some musicians think about the flatted ninth or the minor or the flatted second. Whichever one works for you. But you see, this one is the same. Because the same fully diminished 7 chord is contained in both of these. Here's F7 flat 9. Here's A flat 7 flat 9. And by the way, here's B7 flat 9. And here's D7 flat 9. So once you know this scale, you have a way of negotiating 4 different dominant chords: F, A flat, B, and D. When you know the next one, you've got B flat, D flat, E, and G. You can start on any note from it. You know, you can start on the flat of the ninth, you can start on the third and the fifth and the seventh of the chord if you want. I just have found it easier when I was learning it to think about the third. And the other beautiful thing about this scale is that once you've learned the first 3, right? And it doesn't have to be C, F, and B flat. I just happen to see it doesn't have to be F, B flat, and E flat. I just happen to pick those. Once you've learned the first 3, you've got them all. There are permutations upon permutations that you can use to play with these scales, right? You can shift them so that you're playing from, instead of like what I'm doing, where it's going half step, half step, half step, half step, right? Half step, whole step, half step, and then a whole step, half step, then a whole step, half step, then a whole step. There's also possible to play it whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, Right. I just like right. But it's the same scale, right? The scale that starts on A and goes and proceeds whole step, half step is the same as the scale that starts on A flat and proceeds half step, whole step. Right? To me, those terms are less important than understanding that this is a diminished 7 chord and that this helps build the scale. Or it's the same diminished 7 chord. Or the point is, this is what you're focusing on. These are your goal notes, and or. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 1. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. This is a very liberating technique once you learn it and understand the octatonic or diminished scale. Happy practicing.